Alright, it's Jake Mace, the vegan athlete, and I'm going to give you a quick tour of my garden. It's 2013 and it's almost the last week of May, and I wanted to let you guys see what's growing on in my garden. So I'm going to take over the camera here and give you a brief tour, but first we got the living wall. You can see the yard has got some zones. Living wall, trellises to the left, and then the main garden center under the arbor you can see, and I'm going to take you over there first. So let's start the tour. And hopefully this will inspire you guys to get out and do some gardening, even if you live in a hot place like Phoenix, Arizona. The cool thing is we're a couple months ahead of everybody else and the season starts early here. So we can grow a lot of edible stuff, and I'll show you some tricks that I'm using to grow more effectively. Let's do it. So what I'll do first here is I'll show you guys the main garden center. We're gonna pass our new pecan tree. We just planted this a few months ago. It was just a stick in the ground. Now look at this guy go, yeah. And these are our little Garden Prince almond tree. He's got almonds all over him, nice. And thanks to John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com, I got the Boogie Brew filter going whenever I water my garden or trees. We got the filter going on because my irrigation system is not set up yet. So I was too impatient. I wanted to get gardening, so it's my relaxing meditation to water the garden for the time being. Then we got the all-in-one almond. Even this one's got about 20 or 30 almonds on them. No, maybe more than that, maybe like 40. These are be ready in a couple of weeks, months. They look so nice right now. They're fuzzy and nice. And they're in little clusters. Looking really good. And these guys are about, look at all this new growth. So you can see how the first season we planted them, they flowered, they fruited, but didn't grow any bigger. In this season, the brown is last season's growth or lack thereof, and this green is all new. So these guys have put off almost 2 feet in some cases of new growth this season. I'm really excited. They must like the wood chips and rabbit litter that I give them as part of, and the deep, slow watering to improve the soil. So first we have the garden center here, the main center. And I built this little arbor, and again, I was inspired for this arbor from John Kohler with the growingyourgreens.com website. And I love watching his videos on my iPhone while I'm watering or while I eat some cereal in the morning time. So I kind of built a redwood arbor, kind of like what he's got, and I'm growing 2 different kinds of cucumbers this year. So I've got the Armenian cucumbers, and they're about, I would say 7 or 8 feet up. They almost got to the top here. So they're almost at the top. And the cool thing is that they put off huge, called like a serpent melon sometimes, huge cucumbers just hanging off, and they look like, almost like melons. Look at that guy. What is that? It's a little guy right there. And so we got different shapes and sizes of cucumbers. This one's enormous. Oh my God. Here, let me show you a different angle of this guy. This guy's pretty impressive. This is what most of them look like. I grew them in the front yard last season, and they put off nice cucumbers like that. On the inside, it's a beautiful, wonderfully tasting cucumber, and on the outside, it's like looks like a melon, and they take the heat really well. So anybody that's in Phoenix that wants to grow cucumbers, I highly recommend growing the Armenian cucumbers, the giant serpent melons. On this side, I've got Japanese burpless cucumbers and some tomatillos. So these are tomatillos I planted from seed, and they're looking pretty good. That's the first flower there on the inside, about ready to bud up there. And these guys, we took off a huge Japanese cucumber from them last night, and you can see the Japanese cucumbers hanging there. They've got bumps and spines on them, but they just break off if you touch them. That one's kind of curly Q, and that one's a nice looking one. So we've been putting these in smoothies, and also we've been slicing them up and using them as raw potato chips for things like hummus and guacamole. Now, in these 2 beds, I built them before I heard that you shouldn't build beds bigger than 4 feet wide because they're hard to reach into. I built these guys 6 by 6. So I'm pretty athletic, so I have no problem getting inside the beds, but normally you want to build them smaller. But these 2 6 by 6 beds are really cool when you first walk in. the garden. So in this bed, this particular bed has a different microclimate than the other bed, and this one gets a lot more shade. Okay, so I have a lot. I noticed that right now a lot of the things in this bed are doing really well, like the basil, the Thai basil. It's even going to flower. You can see the flowers there. You can actually eat these flowers, and they're actually pretty nice. They got a really nice taste. We also have strawberries around the outside. So the perimeter of the beds, I didn't want to grow flowers, even though I could grow edible flowers, because I love strawberries, and my goal this year was I want to eat strawberries every single day by the handful, and I have succeeded. So this particular bed has ever-bearing strawberries, and they have really cute pink flowers with yellow centers. And these ever-bearing strawberries are really good. Let me see if I can get this one. They're really good, but these ever-bearing ones, they kind of are a little bit harder than the other ones I have, which are the Sequoia June-bearing strawberries. But everything in this bed, I got more of this Thai basil growing, cherry tomatoes. These are like the super sweet 100s or something like that, and they're all green. The tomatoes that are in more sun have ripened quicker. And this is the lettuce leaf basil. If these guys go to seed this early, I usually just pluck this off, and then I eat the flowers, and I hopefully will extend their growing season. They'll grow more leaves because they won't feel the need to seed. This is an amethyst basil from Suzanne Velarde. She was the grower, and she sold this to me at Greg Peterson's place, the urban gardener, called Root Phoenix. So if you're in the Phoenix area, go to Root Phoenix. Got really good edible plants that will work. Everything I've planted from Root Phoenix has done amazingly well. So we've got more strawberries. You can see they're just kind of all over the place, and one of the perks of me doing all the work is I get to eat the strawberries. Now, what I did was, I wasn't very good at planning out this bed, so I had some gaps. So everywhere I had a gap, I planted a bush bean. So you can see these guys are just starting to look pretty good. And these are all the bush beans that will do two things. It will give me beans, and number two is it will fix nitrogen in the soil for the next season. So hopefully whatever I grow in here in the fall will do amazing because of the beans. More amethyst basil. These tomatoes are really good. I really didn't have the time to label all my tomatoes, so I kind of just get to have a surprise. I have maybe 15 different varieties of tomatoes, and they kind of all are different shapes, sizes, colors, and tastes. So as they ripen, I get to eat them and have a little surprise. This was the only one though that was a volunteer. I didn't mean to plant this. It popped up and I just kind of put it here, and it looks like he's got some green tomatoes going on, which will hopefully become red or yellow or purple tomatoes. This guy in the middle is a golden berry, also called a Cape gooseberry or Pichu berry. And the John Kohler on Growing Your Green site is growing this at his place in San Francisco. And you can see that the berries kind of look like tomatillos with a little husk on the outside. But I'm telling you, I can't even tell you what this tastes like. These are supposed to have vitamin B12 in it, which is good for a vegan like me. I wonder if my camera will clear. Oh, there we go, it's clear. But look at the berry on the inside of that. So it's called a Pichu berry, Cape gooseberry, Inca berry, golden berry. These guys have got their own taste, and when you put it in your mouth, it just explodes with flavor. And every person I bring in the yard that tastes one of these has this expression on their face like, Jesus Christ, this is really good. Or just, it's not even that it's super good, it's just so interesting, and it is very sweet, tangy, tart all at the same time. So let me eat this while I'm talking to you. Oh my God, can you taste it? Oh yeah. Now, so this bed has, you can kind of see how I worked it. Armenian cucumbers, you can see it right here, growing up the trellis. They'll keep getting bigger. I have tomatoes on the inner ring. I go to Beijing, China a lot, so I probably maybe modeled it after their ring roads. I got the inner ring is tomatoes and basil. I got the tight ring with all the gaps is bush beans, and the outer ring are all the tomatoes. And this has worked really well for me. I just recently, this week, for the first time, began putting this alfalfa hay on top of my beds, and I am watering 50% less than in years past. I've only been here for 2 years, and this alfalfa hay is going to give nutrients to the soil when it breaks down, but it also is insulating my beds so they retain moisture, and I just can't believe it. It's so wonderful how it's keeping the moisture in. I'm conserving water, putting less labor into my beds, and the plants are happier. So I'm really happy with this alfalfa hay. In this 6x3 bed next to it, I got bush beans in the middle, 2 different varieties of bush beans. I've got the Chandler, or not Chandler, but the Sequoia strawberries around the outside. And then here against the trellis, that's about 8-9 feet up, I've got 2 different kinds of beans. Asian yard-long beans, Christmas pole beans, Christmas lima beans, and Malabar spinach. So the Malabar spinach I planted late because I've got Malabar spinach in a different bed, and this one's a month behind. That way I get them to get ready at different times. And just look at these. I mean, I love these strawberries, and they are just ripening all the time. I mean, this white one will be red soon. I just pick them and eat them, and I give some to my wife Pam when she goes to work, and we're a happy couple here. So I'm gonna pick this one. Oh yeah, that's just a nice dark red strawberry. And when they're dark red like that, they just melt in your mouth. Anyways, this bed I'm really happy with because I planted a lot of beans in here last season, and you can tell this bed has just exploded. So here's what I've got in this bed. Tree kale. I really wish that I can get some of this purple tree kale that John Kohler's got. I love that guy, he's got a great channel. But this is the green variety of tree kale. But even so, I think it's fantastic. This tree kale, I got a local nursery called Baker Nursery in town in Phoenix. And Baker Nursery, the people there, they are so nice and very honest. They've been there forever, and I get a lot of my trees from them, as well as Root Phoenix. And Baker Nursery got these in, and they wouldn't sell it to me unless I taught them some Tai Chi. So I taught everybody at Baker Nursery Tai Chi, and that gave me the right to purchase about half a dozen tree kale. So this tree kale was about the size of this one leaf, and now look at it. I mean, some of the leaves here are the size of like my hand. I have big hands, and this is like 3 times the size of my hand. So really impressed with this tree kale. Now over here, well, first off are my dogs, but I can't let them out right now because we got my sister-in-law over here with her baby, and I don't want the dog to accidentally jump on the new baby. So sorry guys, you're gonna come out in about 10 minutes. But this is a cool variety of hot weather lettuce. It's doing really well. It's called Aurora Orac. And there's purple variety and green variety. So the Aurora Orac is doing really nice, and it's really tall. It's like 5 feet tall. I mean, look at it. It's all the way up. The seeds of it are coming out of this net. I got this volunteer cucumber plant. I don't know what kind of cucumber it is because it just came up on its own from last season, or maybe the birds got one from this season. But it's got like really like pickling looking cucumbers coming off of it. I've got the yard-long beans that are climbing the trellis. So these yard-long beans really are a yard long. I mean, like I'm really impressed with these yard-long beans that have been really good in stir fry and stuff. And then tomatillo, that's this one that's kind of amongst the yard-long beans, and there's another yard-longer right here, you can see. Then with the tree kale, we've got more tomatillos that are coming out of the box. I'm hoping these guys will, oh look at that. And these also came from Suzanne Velarde. They're the Cherokee purple tomatoes. And look at this. There are some massive, massive tomatoes on this guy. And one of them, oh yeah, the first one getting ripe in there. Look at that guy. Let's see if I can zoom in for you guys. Look at that Cherokee purple tomatoes getting purple. There we go. Oh yeah, baby. Okay, now I got another Cherokee purple over here, and this guy's just got, I mean, look at these tomatoes inside here. that are just massive, like the size of baseballs or bigger. We got more cucumbers just coming off of this guy. So this box I'm really impressed with. I really recommend, if you want to have a good garden, in a year from now, plant a lot of beans, pole beans, bush beans right now, so that they fix nitrogen in the soil for your future garden. I got some beets in here, 2 different kinds of beets. Cosmic purple carrots, this is Detroit red beets and early wonder beets. I've got Navajo cassava melons growing up this trellis. So you can see these guys keep getting bigger and bigger every day. I just keep kind of looping them around the trellis and keeping them going. So these 2 are the Navajo Native American cassava melons. So let me give you a little tutorial what I do here. So I take this guy, he kind of wants to go over. I bring him up, and I have these clips that I got at the dollar store, and I usually clip them onto the trellis. These guys over here are Hopi melons. And they're all heirloom, but I wonder if these guys are going to cross-pollinate and make a Jake melon. So Hopi melons, and they're climbing up pretty well. So this will be a whole trellis of green here with the carrots and the beets, which gets a lot of shade because it's in the middle. Then my sunflowers are like 14 feet tall. They're really tall up there, huge. And I cut the heads off when they get semi-ripe because the birds are just eating them like crazy. And that way I can ripen them in a different room. And this box is cool too, so I'm trying to do some symbiosis here. I got my sunflowers climbing up. I got the pole beans climbing up the sunflowers. The alfalfa grass down below to keep the moisture in. Lemon cucumbers around the outside. If you've never had a lemon cucumber, they are delicious. I'll show you I got a couple in here that are ripening. These lemon cucumbers are really nice. This one should be a little bit more golden, but I'll pick it and I'll show you guys. So it usually gets a golden hue to it, and it looks like a lemon. They're white and they turn yellow, and they are amazing. On the inside, it's a cucumber. And they have a mildly sweet taste, so good. And so, we got a watermelon plant starting to do things. I got these John Kohler with Growing Your Greens. He grew these Kakai pumpkins up a monster trellis. And so I'm like, I'm gonna try Kakai pumpkins. And I ordered these Kakai pumpkins from Baker Creek Seed Company online, rareseeds.com. And this guy is out of control. He went up the trellis, along the fence, above the fence. And now look, I'll zoom in through the foliage there. He's putting off Kakai pumpkins hanging from the trellis. That's cool. But I got some Kakai pumpkins that are down below also. This Kakai pumpkin is really cool because he put off 2 different pumpkins and they both look different. One is orange and one is green. That's cool. And this is the biggest one. He's putting up a monster one. And I got some strawberries around the perimeter here, some chamomile growing that doesn't look too good because it's getting shaded out, but I got chamomile somewhere else too. The pole beans are putting off beans, and the sunflowers are happy, Kakai pumpkins are happy, strawberries are happy, and the chamomile is trying its best. In this box behind, I've got more Japanese cucumbers. I've got tomatillos, purple and green. I've got cilantro, which is going to seed and turning into coriander. And I've got my leeks that are in the middle. You can see the leeks in the middle all the way down. They're kind of like onions. And I'm trying to see how far those will go, even though it's kind of not a hot weather deal, but they're shaded out, so I hope they'll do pretty well. And this alfalfa hay is a miracle. I watered this morning. It was 100 degrees today, and look at that. The soil is still black, moist, and looking good. I'm doing alfalfa hay, and I'm also growing some clover in the beds to try to retain moisture. Now in this box right here, it's another 6x3. I've got another golden berry plant, another Inca berry, pichu berry. This one was a gift from Suzanne Velarde with Velarde Gardens, and it was like one leaf, and it's looking pretty good right now. I got these dwarf tomatoes that are looking pretty good. They're a dwarf tomato plant that's putting off nice looking tomatoes there. This guy's a cherry tomato, and he's putting off really nice looking red cherry tomatoes. Let's pick that one and see. Oh man, that looks really good. Looks pretty good to me. My camera takes a second to clear up here. Clear up, camera. There we go. Nice. Sorry about my gardening hands. They used to be nice hands until I started growing all this crap. Look at that. Oh yeah. That is filtered water right there. Then, more tree kale. This guy's in the shade. He's a little bit behind. And then in this box over here, I've got more tree kale. 3 more, and this guy looks really good. This tree looks really big. This tree kale looks really big and bushy. And these leaves, I put like 1 leaf in my smoothie and I'm good to go. I got some eggplants and peppers, different kinds of peppers and eggplants. I think there's 3 different varieties of eggplants and peppers in here that are doing pretty well. They're just like a little bit behind because I planted them out late. I'm trying to stagger my season so that everything ripens at different times. I planted these huckleberries because I want to make huckleberry pie. And look at this. These guys, they wouldn't germinate until it got really hot. So I kept trying and trying. They would grow and they would die when their first 2 leaves came out. But now they love the heat, man, and they're putting off their first huckleberry flowers. So I'm hoping, if all goes well in a little bit, we'll have, come on, clear up for everybody. Nice. I'm hoping that we'll have huckleberries in a little bit here. So I got 3 huckleberry plants that are looking pretty nice right here. And I've got some that are a month behind in this other bed. And this, along with the huckleberries, are my flowering sunchokes. Let me go over here because the sun is going down. These are the flowering sunchokes, Jerusalem artichokes. And they put off these, they're like a sunflower, but they look amazing. And there's insects all over them. I got 2 of these sunflowers from Root Phoenix, from one of the growers at Root Phoenix there. Or 2 of these sunchokes, these got from him. The other ones I bought at Whole Foods. And so I went into Whole Foods produce section. I bought $5 of nice sunchokes, and look what I got. I got all these beautiful sunchokes. And this guy is like easily 7 feet tall. And this guy looks really nice. He's got a nice collection of flowers there. Amidst the sunchokes, I'm planting pole beans that are going to be climbing up the stalks. I've got some more scallop squash in there. And the huckleberries are these little guys. In about a month, those guys, that's huckleberry. They'll be bigger like the other ones. In this bed over here, I've got a lot of basils that are taking a lot of sun, so I'm hoping they'll get bigger now that I got them alfalfa hayed. So I've got spicy globe basil and Thai basil and different varieties of basil. I got some eggplants in here. I got peppers and bush beans along the edge and another huckleberry inside there. That's what that guy is right there. So if you want to get a far away view, that's the garden center we just were at. The 6x3 beds that I just was showing you. This one is a bed full of amaranth. It's 2 different varieties. One is Hopi Red Dye. This one just started going to seed, and I'm going to harvest the seeds. So the leaves are edible and so are the seeds. So this Hopi Red Dye is pretty dark red. Come on, clear up. Put my hand in front. It might clear up around my hand. Come on. There we go. Now you can see it. Oh yeah. So the grain is right there. It's starting to go to a little bit of flower, and then we'll have some grain that'll be like hopefully weeping over this plant. This is a green variety because some of the red stuff comes out green. I don't know what that's all about. So we got Hopi Red Dye and Love Lies Bleeding Amaranth. And in this box, it's another 6x6. This is the box that has the Japanese cucumbers. I have more of the sequoia strawberries on the outside, tomatoes on the inside, and then eggplants and bush and pole beans that will hopefully climb the pole beans will climb the trellis that the golden berries are using, and they will give each other shade. You can see how this tomato plant is starting to get some nice looking tomatoes on it right in there. Right inside there. Yep, those are red tomatoes grown by Jake Mace. What else I got to show you guys? Over here, down this row, so John Kohler had a good suggestion to leave it open enough for wheelbarrows to go in. So the main part here is open for wheelbarrows. And I have these cement bricks to block the desert tortoise because he will eat everything. But this is some of the food for the tortoise. He just ate all the grass today. Oh, we can let the dogs out now. You guys ready? I want to see some good dogs. Ready? Sit. Sit. Hey. Sit. Everybody needs to sit. Hey. Sit. Pep, sit. So good. Go ahead, you guys. Go ahead. Good girls. What are you doing here? Here, shake. 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 Good girl. Hey, give me the shake. Shake. Venus, shake. Shake. Thank you, Venus. Nice job. Okay, go get him. Go get him. The tortoise is grass. He's eating down to nothing. I gotta plant some more for him. And my box of mint. I pulled this wood out of the trash way and made a improvised box, and I got lime mint and spearmint and apple mint, chocolate mint. This purple flowering one is lemon mint. It looks really beautiful purple flowers. These are really nice looking. We've got spearmint, and we've got also orange mint. So we have the pineapple guava bushes here, our pomegranate tree. It's angel red pomegranate. The xeriscape with a lot of edible plants like the prickly pear and the Peruvian apple cactus, courtesy of Lou, Pamela's dad. We got some blue palo verde in there, and aloe vera. I put the aloe vera in my smoothies in the morning time. Now over here is my outdoor cat enclosure. When we got this house, this was the first thing that I built because I wanted my cats to have outside access without getting in trouble. So they're indoor cats, but they have this atrium that's caged in with chicken wire, and they gain access to and from the house through air conditioning ductwork from the hardware store. So these two tubes, they go, see how they kind of bond into the house there? And the cats come in and out of those tubes. And they get to come outside and chase bugs, and all their litter boxes are down here outside, so there's no smell in the house. And I feed them out here and they have a good time. Now growing up this cat enclosure, I got a blueberry grapevine. This blueberry grapevine are the best. I love these guys. This guy grew only a little bit last season. This is its second year and he's exploded this year. And look at all these lovely grapes. There's grapes everywhere. So blueberry grape, if you're in Phoenix area, blueberry grape. I think they're great. They're so great, they're grape. We got some pineapple mint coming down here. The cat's up there. Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey who? Hey who? That's right. They just stand out here and they get to watch and have cat TV with all the bees and bugs and birds and stuff. And hopefully the cats also are my security system against the birds eating my grapes. I grow catnip in there for them, so they got catnip growing inside. And what I did is I put chicken wire over the catnip, and then the catnip grew through the chicken wire, because if I didn't do that, the cats would lay on the plant and kill it, and so this way they get to eat it as it comes out the chicken wire. I got my loofah vine growing here, and he's almost reached the cage. Once this loofah vine reaches the cage, then all bets are off. It grows like a 40-foot long vine, and we got 150 plus loofah sponges for the shower, for dishes, for sponges off this one plant last season. But this year the loofah is going to have to compete with the grapevines. So we got the blueberry grape here and the autumn royale grape here. And we've got in between 1/3 of an acre and a half acre. So we're not quite a half acre here in Tempe, Arizona. So in this bed, I'm really proud of this 6x3 bed. All my beds are made out of redwood fence posts from the hardware store. And this bed, I got a lot of diversity in here. I got my trellis for my Christmas lima beans. that are just exceeding the trellis, and they're just like, you can see over here, they're just growing above it and hooking over the top. They're really out of control. I've got, I think these are more Kakai pumpkins here that are going off the trellis. I've got Malabar spinach that's climbing up here and going off the trellis. This Malabar spinach is really cool. It's amazing to me how it trellises. I'm gonna try to train this guy because he's going around the wood. I want him to go around the metal here. See if I can get him. Come on, bud. There we go. So the Malabar spinach is with the pole beans. I've got New Zealand spinach. It's a hot weather variety of spinach, just doing really nicely. New Zealand spinach. So I got Malabar, New Zealand doing really well, and Egyptian spinach is doing really well too. And in the middle, I've got zucchini, scallop squash, and this is my fig tree. And this green fig tree shades the box in the summertime, then loses all of its leaves, and it gives more sun in the wintertime. And this is one example of this green tint scallop squash. I touched the wall, and my hand gets white when I touch the wall. Green tint scallop squash. Look at them all, they're just starting to pop. So we love these because we slice it thin and put it on pizza because we're vegan, and this makes great like substitute cheese on pizza. The fig trees got loaded with figs. There's just figs all over the fig tree, and I had one ripen yesterday and it was delicious. This green fig tree, one of my friends, one of my Tai Chi students and friends, David, brought it in just like a stick in the ground. I planted it and look what it did. 2 years, fig tree. Okay, let me go over here and we'll show you the other stuff. We got wolfberry bushes, which are doing pretty nice here. There's a first year for them, first couple months. My goji berry bush is in its second year. I've already gotten over 50 ripe goji berries off this guy, and he's got more coming. I mean, they got the goji berries put off these purple flowers, and after they put off the, come on, clear it for me, there we go, purple flowers, they put off these green goji berries, and then they turn red, and they're really amazing. Like this one's turning red, see that? He's finally turning, he's got a little bit of a yellowish color now, and then he'll turn dark red and he's ready to eat. So the goji berry is working really well. We got cherry trees and chupa rosa bush, edible cactus in the xeriscape, and our desert tortoise lives underneath the xeriscape. He dug his burrow. He's humongous. Our peach tree, Florida Prince Peach, $40. This year we've harvested over 300 peaches easily off this guy. We just left this skeleton amount here. We just harvested the rest yesterday. We're ripening them inside because the birds take them out. But the birds only took out a few, and we've got most of them inside for freezing and canning and putting in smoothies. This is another grapevine that's taken the heat of the house because this wall is western facing, so this grapevine's taken the heat so far. This guy's in his first year, he's coming up. The living wall is to serve as a block for the dogs and for the tortoise and for the dirt. So we grew a living wall. I set up a planter box that kind of conforms to the pool. And this is another golden berry, Pichu berry. You can see the golden berry lantern on there. And this is more scallop squash with Sikkim cucumbers. I mean, I haven't had one ripe yet, but the plant looks really good and it's climbing. So the Sikkim cucumbers, S-I-K-K-I-M, is doing really nicely. We've got the long Dachine cucumbers over here, kumquat tree. We got eggplants and bush beans and okra. We got 2 tomato plants. These are cherry tomatoes. They're looking really nice. This pepper and eggplant area is not looking too good, and I wonder if it's because it's not getting much sun, so I'm going to work on that. We got the dinosaur kale looking really nice. Another cherry tree. We've got more peppers and okra starting here. I just planted it. I planted another section of amaranth, the Hopi red dye. I've got my melons I just put out. I just sprouted these from the greenhouse, and they're, I think they're American melons. And another golden berry. And then I got in this box, I've got just starting the West Indian bird cucumber that's just starting, and they're gonna apparently put off little tiny round cucumbers with burrs on them, and they will be really hardy plants. We'll see if that happens. zucchini plant all going down here, and I put the zucchini on the western side and the strawberries on the eastern side so that the zucchini will shade the strawberries. And you can see how it's working. They're shading the strawberries and more bush beans. So everywhere I have gaps, I put bush beans. Then along the wall here, we're just starting our trellises for the melons. I'm growing pole beans up the trellis in the back. So here's the system I got. Look at this. In the back of the trellis are pole beans. In the front of the trellis are watermelons and other types of squash and melon. So hopefully as the pole beans get too hot and die off in the summertime, the melons will take over and exist the rest of the season. And then this is to block the tortoise. So in these little bricks, I'm planting dill, cilantro, and more bush beans. So this entire trellis, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. They'll be full of melons in about 3 months. We got another cherry. We have 3 cherry trees. This is our 3rd one. Apricot tree. Everything's in its 1st or 2nd year. Pineapple guava. This will be a fish pond. We're gonna do some aquaponics here coming up, probably this fall when we can afford it. Lemon tree. I love figs. We got another fig tree. We have 5 different fig trees. That's a black mission fig. This is a desert gold peach. This is a turkey fig in its 1st year. This is a Thai pumpkins, looking really nice. These Thai pumpkins are looking great. I even forgot to water them for about 2 weeks, and they made it. And I was like, oh no, and I watered them again. They're taking off. So these guys love it. I love it. I don't care. And then I got the pole beans down below with them. I'm growing some weird herbs from nativeseedsearch.org. If you go to nativeseedsearch.org, this one's called Corales Asafran. I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna use it in my recipes. Back here I've got the pergola where I train my Tai Chi at, and I got grapevines starting up the corners. I've got blackberry bushes starting here against the fence, which will be great when they get bigger. So these grapevines, I'm hoping next season are blueberry grapes. This is where the blueberry grape was by the cat enclosure last season. So if that's indicative of what's going to happen next year, it'll be humongous next year. And in the middle, on this post, I put a trellis up this post, and I planted immortality vines thanks to a friend that just gave me a lead on these immortality vines. You put them in tea. Supposed to have crazy amount of health properties like antioxidants and things like that. So we're gonna have immortality vines growing up our Tai Chi floor. Thought that was pretty appropriate. A little bit of an apple orchard back here with 4 different kinds of apple trees that will get bigger every year. We've got the chicken coop and chicken run. The chickens just went to bed. So this is the chicken run. They get to run up and down here with their, I give them all the vegetables. I guess I just uprooted all my Laos lettuce today. I harvested the seeds, and now I put the lettuce inside the chicken coop, and look, they picked it clean. They get to go inside that and get some shade, and the other part is my compost for all the edibles and carbons and nitrogens I put in the compost. So that's the little tour, a little bit of a row of apple trees, blood orange. But cue back in with us next time and I'll give you more details of what's growing, and we'll even do the front yard because that's also very impressive. And we will talk more about what is ripening in Longevity Gardens here with Jake Mace, the vegan athlete. I will see you next time.